Здорово. Всем привет. Всем ку. Ой. Так, полетели. Я, сорян, сейчас первую катку, даже полкатки без вебки буду, я просто кушаю. Не успел поесть перед стримом. Так. Вебку пока офну. Ой, офнул, блядь. Привет, привет, всем привет. Какой подарок для Нави? Зона вообще шикарная. Значит, это горы будут.
They're not playing on that northwestern side. They're not in Camp Alpha. And with the circle zoning up there, maybe they're biting their tongues a little bit there. But that is a fairly big adjustment coming through from the team. I mean, they did get swept on Sandhawk yesterday. If you remember, it was just Swave. They did come second, but it's not ideal to go down to one that early. Virtus Pro, TJB dropping close to one another. TJB actually set up north side, so quite a few adjustments being made into today's games.
Yeah, I said I thought they would stay central. Apparently not. Goodness me, it's Western Europe all over again. Here we are in the fourth split, and it's all about just felling all these players in the lobby. Apparently, that Molotov hits the wall. You at least get some hot concrete, but nothing more than that, son.
You know, it's fine. It is what it is. I think it burns a little bit through to the other side, so you force them off that section of wall, and it's going to work out. ARB finds X around the corner. That's what they're looking for. Two players from Nexus already down, and ARB champions playing on the north side of Painan effectively.
Yeah, pretty sad there, Nexus going down to 2. But again, this is Sandhawk. It's what it's all about. This is how things are going to go down today. I did actually want to talk about Nexus, but not individually about Nexus, right? I also want to talk about Unicorns alone. Nexus were able to get the second highest elimination game. Come on, guys, calm it down.
Seems like it might be a very high elimination game very quickly, Blank. I mean, Demuerte down to 3 with a res. Take Aim Gaming losing one of their players. Similar situation, but slower on this res. Smoke not there yet, and Mind doesn't have any smoke, so just has to go for the naked res there.
The naked red, the raw res.
That's
yes,
right.
please.
Ну почему вот именно, блять, они сцепились? Почему так нахуй?
But not really getting pushed out that way. That's a bit overconfident, I'd say, from Demuerte. And another knock.
Does have... Oh, he's got very limited ammo here, but I don't know if English is going to be able to pull this one back. It will be one incredible clutch up. He's extremely low, though, so even one-off angle might be able to do something. Can't quite find the second. And that will be those two players getting knocked out.
Топ-топ, ДМР и Юники.
And this is usually how it goes, is that we immediately have to fall back on our feet because we are immediately proven wrong.
That's the one player buff. It's the one player buff,
It's the one player buff, man. You saw Swave do it yesterday, right? I mean, you called it right at the beginning of the game, John, and I was like, you know, that's interesting, but I don't really want to talk about that right now because I don't think it's going to come into massive effect. And you were like, no, Swave is going to do something big here. Lo and behold, second place. So I'm going to have to listen to you more often here on Sandhawk, John.
I felt real big brain about that one.
That was a big brain play, bro. I'm not going to lie.
It's true. It's true. And it wasn't just totally random. Game Lord make the cross.
Да никакие 3 больше там.
Run into some Eastern Stars, unfortunately, on this northwestern island. 3 players now. Rob's eliminated. Akashi, the assassin, the non-coin flip IGL for Game Lord. Putting those nades in, but not really finding too much. Took a little bit of damage there. The Eastern Stars hold out for now.
I mean, I feel like this should have been a pretty predictable play coming through. Pioneer's not predictable, though. They're actually dropping all the way on this northwest island. They've already got here. I don't think they dropped here in particular, but have moved across almost instantaneously, right? So they've not wasted any time getting onto this side of the island. Pretty confident that we're going to end up over towards this side.
Дела заебись. Сижу, кушаю.
Close by. You may as well take your chances, right, on Sandhawk.
I'm looking at that northwestern island, and without Big's presence in Camp Alpha, Na'Vi have got their 1-2-1 split that they've been operating with quite a few times over these last couple of days. They're moving it around, playing these 4 points of the cliffs. Seemingly going to have quite a good hold over this northwestern island. It's a very, very strong position. They haven't lost anyone early. They've had essentially free looting over that whole side of the island. This is Na'Vi's game to lose at the moment. It's very early, sure, but they absolutely are in the best spot possible for this.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch the team name you were talking about at the beginning there, but at the end...
А, ну это бан получается. Ну да. Ну получается бан, да.
Right now, so yeah, it's nice to see that they've actually been able to get up here and not had too many difficulties. I think that comes down a lot to Big not even dropping here, which is curious, and I think it was a good thing to bring up right at the beginning of the game there, John, because it doesn't make too much sense not to drop on the northwest side. I mean, Big's found quite a bit of success on that side, but it might just be a case that they're feeling like, yes, they win that early game, maybe get a couple of knocks over towards Na'Vi, but those 2 elimination points just aren't worth not being able to get super far into the late game with a full squad. Yeah, they can get through with maybe 1 player, but you typically want to have that full 4 if you want to go for the chicken dinners, especially coming in today where you've got 2 Sandhawks. Play it more aggressively, go for it. I'm here for it, to be honest with you.
TJB, Mad Bulls. Jousting across the way, but both of them are going to have to cross, maybe not this circle, but perhaps next. 4 Romanian men spotted out in the water by Big. I think this is all the way on the south coast, here near Bantai.
Yeah, I can barely see it at this point in time. It is really, really out the way.
The blues coming in. There's a boat out in the water over there. I imagine 4 Romanian men were trying to use that to skirt around, but Big was still there. You have to wonder, why are they still there, right? They are going to be right at the back of the queue.
100%, John.
Хаваешь макарошки с колбасками.
I am still trying to locate them on my map, but I am failing.
They're also down south towards Bantai.
Very, very down south there. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, if they've read the rotation for 4 Romanian men, I mean, that works out perfectly well for you. I think there's been a few times where Big's made that rotation before, and they've made it in that boat. So, you know, you play enough games, you just know what someone else is going to do just off repeated actions, and even your repeated actions.
А больше не надо, Дини. Не, ну все, это бан. Это точно бан. Это бан. Тут без вариантов. Бан. Все.
Which is usually quite useful to hold on to as information. But yeah, you are right. They're going to be right at the back of the queue. And if we do center up on that northwest side, they might be kicking themselves. But instead of getting the 2 eliminations early and going out early over on northwest side, maybe it's just a case of just the opposite all the way down to the south, which is not the result they were looking for. 4 Romanian men, stats just haven't looked amazing here on Sandhawk. I know they were able to get killer into one of the final circles yesterday, but again, I think this is more of a symptom of that central play that we're seeing from a lot of these teams down towards Quarry side, John, where we are having huge amounts of teams just clumped up to the south side of Quarry, down towards Cave. It's an issue.
ЕГЭ, ну, конечно, давал. Я ЕГЭ сдавал после 9-го, и ЕГЭ ебучее после 11-го.
With the rotating lobbies, it's always really rough to know whether you should be going north or south. We are having some slight...
Бля, пожалуйста, прокни на гору ебучую, то хоть сейчас.
I'll talk about this perhaps next, Sandhawk, because right now a lot of the rotations are based around these water crossings, and TJB, who dropped towards that north side and able to get at least 1 knock and elimination over towards Chulika, they're currently looking to head over towards Hats.
Ну, пока все еще горой пахнет.
Because Game Lord don't have full force.
I'm wondering exactly where the airdrop is in the crossing near ARB. Is it in the water? Is it on the bridge? Not entirely sure, but that could be a really, really important piece of cover to add to that location, because it is notoriously barren, notoriously open and difficult to cross.
О, еще одного в бан. Не, ну все, это уже 2 бана получается. Бан и бан, нахуй. Получается бан плюс бан. Да? Тима тоже в бан хочет. Ну, он не хочет, он уже в бане, да. Все, это бан. Это бан. Денис в бан и... Ой, Тима тоже в бан. Ну все, это 2 бана получается. Бан.
Yeah, so you've got Dumwerte, who's down there, with only that 1 player after the unfortunate fight they took with Take Aim Gaming earlier.
Uh-oh. An immediate rundown.
Включи вебку, зачем? Хочешь смотреть, как я жру сижу?
little sabbatical
Тоже в бан
yesterday,
хочешь?
popping some nades over, last standing for the squad. ARB should be just fine here. Octavian really doesn't want to go down. Now's the time to prove your mettle. Another nade over the top, over towards Hamodi, who's got the Groza in hand. I think that was the Groza, unless I was mistaken. Could be. Over the top. Oh, it was the QBZ, not the Groza. That part. Wait, no, that is the Groza.
Я тебе вместо бота отвечу, да. Хотя они почему-то выключены, надо их включить.
I like that the elusive Groza really gave you some huge problems there.
Really did. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
That was not good.
I mean, with the amount of attachments you can whack on the QBZ, it makes sense to hold on to that as your long-range weapon.
Теперь должен работать.
There's only limited attachments you can throw on the Groza, but that thing hits like a truck.
Что, бан? Всем бан сегодня получится? Сегодня банный день?
Better suited towards that close to mid-range, right? So I think that's still a fairly decent setup, especially coming over towards that Northwest Island.
Бар? А кто в бар хочет? Или в бан? Или может быть в бар?
So not a bad thing to hold on to if you are ARB. They've decided to move over towards the top side. Take Aim Gaming hasn't moved yet. I mean, if you're one of these teams, you're almost hoping that will come down towards the south side towards you. You don't really want to get into the mix. A lot of these teams don't seem to be aware that, you know, Camp Alpha and all the compounds on the western side completely free. And, you know, Take Aim Gaming is not going to go over towards it. Now, I respect that.
Это, по-моему, бахнет баном Влада, да? Я так думаю, что все-таки да.
And should it shift over towards the west, you know, you've got free reign. There's literally so many different houses, so many different compounds and shacks that you can take the pick of. And at that point, you know, you just try and find somewhere for yourself and don't really worry about the other teams in the circle in that time being.
I think 4 Romanian men, by the way, went all the way around the east side of Sandhawk from the southwest point. They went all the way around the east and came in over Cow towards now, swimming towards Hartin. That's quite the botation.
They're here. So life's good. Life's happy for the 4 Romanian men. I'm surprised.
У меня списочек-то рядом лежит, вы не думайте там. Я все записываю. Кому бан потом.
It's the docks that they'll be heading towards in Hatin, and they should be able to find some cover there. You know, the beachhead a little bit small.
Ну, все еще горой пахнет, все еще горой. Она когда направо уходит, это чаще всего гора. Главное, чтобы она уже налево не уходила. Ну, она уже не уйдет туда. Это, скорее всего, гора будет.
And you almost want to say that one of these teams will now win if they play their cards right.
Нет, тетрадь бана записываю, не тетрадь смерти. Так и называется.
There's potential for them to roll down effectively on those compounds, although it is really quite difficult in that sort of area. The bottom of those cliffs is really quite open. There's not a lot of cover.
У меня, походу, бот, блядь, личный секретарь.
On that descent.
You can definitely head towards the ridge sides, though, on the east, looking down towards those compounds. That's occupied by Pioneer and Eastern Stars. And I think this is the first time Navi's had a full force squad to try and go for something like this and control it and haven't been sent away. Game Lord have just absolutely sent it, packing straight towards Shockwave, hoping that it's open. It's unfortunately not. And now they're just going to be peppered by so many bullets whilst looking for somewhere to stay. Luckily, they've got a fast vehicle in hand and quickly get indoors, which is your best option in this situation.
Yeah, they managed to find just a shack on the side of the road, but it will be their sanctuary for the time being. They went straight through. I think they were in the south side of Hartin. I think they went straight through the canyon.
О, ебать, я обожал, пиздец.
It was speedy.
Красиво. Теперь можно посмотреть.
From the Mad Bulls, finding a third as well. Xiao now all of a sudden left wondering where the hell his team has just gone. Effect, cooking the nade, wants to go around the side, and Xiao put down. Mad Bulls, that was very fast.
Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate there, John, to be honest. He just got blown over. Quickly fell to the floor. Made a paper of those lads today, apparently.
Алгострим на Твиче, бля, да хз. А что делать-то? Кемпить одному?
you know, the past at least 5 matches, John. Not sure what's happening with TJB. Pocus though swings around the side.
И по какому поводу пить? Хотя повод можно найти. Надо только какое-то развлечение найти. Так-то пить я могу и без стрима. Вот, например, сегодня я буду пить. Сегодня ко мне друг приедет.
Holding on to it, and I think if I was in big situation, I hear the fighting, maybe I just move.
I like the 2-2 split that they've got going on for Big to make that progression as well, but Ruthless Esports, Team Doom, Virtus Pro are not too far away, but I don't think they want anything to do with it just yet. We'll have to wait and see if they pull up on this. Nano Baby getting rezzed. A nade over the top from Zero does find damage, but doesn't stop it.
Повод Xteam тут забрали. По-моему, да, надо шампанское открывать. А чё такое, Олдыч? Чё он там? Его гаишник, что ли, остановил или чё? Он так, блядь, едет, резко останавливается.
Yeah, you almost needed some aggression there from Virtus Pro, but Take Aim Gaming does disengage away from the Team Doom fight, as well as Ruthless Esports. It's an unfortunate timing as well, because just as they do that, you're seeing Virtus Pro trying to take advantage of the situation, assuming it's 2 teams fighting. That's all you can really do with the information you're given. Oh boy!
Ooh. Not winning out on the duel. Mind able to take him down a second time. The res did go through, but Virtus Pro double up on the loss. For Old Boy pulling up out in the open. I'm not entirely
Друга
sure
на
that
стрим.
was sensible. Not too sure what they were waiting for.
Не, мне стыдно будет его, пока он рэпер. Мне стыдно, что он мой друг. Тем более его показывать.
Know what you can do with just a singular, but a lot of these players and teams being so close by, it's going to be pretty tough for him to find his way in. Dadev, though,
Яш не играет.
Fortress Ruthless Esports are just being held up. I have faith in Dadev, considering that he was able to loot up practically the entirety of Sami by himself, which is probably one of the hottest spots when it comes to picking up medical supplies. We do get our quick little predictions coming in. Jason and Maxman agree that Shockwave might be able to take this one, and Claris goes with Na'Vi. Now, I think Na'Vi's an interesting one to take here. And I think that, you know, with their split they're currently holding, they're trying to keep back a lot of these players on the western side, but they do play these dangerous splits very, very often. Now, I would be worried about their front man, who's over...
А чем он по мосту побежал? Он бы мог подождать тиммейта. Это я вообще нихуя не понял. Он же на тачке проехал.
So he does really need to be careful, especially with how aggressive Tixi
can
be. He might just be poking the bee's nest here.
Well, here's the thing, right? The Mad Bulls are in that canyon, so there's no real sight lines if Tixi doesn't peek, so it is always going to be on him, right? Na'Vi going to be tested, I think, more likely from the south here on Big. Kitsune.
О, халява бежит. Интересно, они заспотали?
Going to be listening out for it.
По идее.
They should know that there's going to be someone up here. The question is, what route do they take?
Yeah.
Или нет, он не увидел. Что?
It would be a pretty cruel fate to go down to Big, considering they dropped on the south side. It's like, yeah, you do.
Как он не увидел?
Always coming. This time we've just delayed it by about 15 minutes. We'll see what they can do. I still think there's a world where Na'Vi might be able to head over towards the ridge side, but with that circle that just pops now, Shockwave have a real good chance at this game. And now it's up to Na'Vi to really take advantage of this high ground.
За кого болеют? Да не за кого. За наших всех.
And then attempt to get into the circle. It will require smokes, and it will require some very good timing. But I think for Na'Vi, it's the real question: do we want to make a mess in this circle?
Блин, как Нави так бегов-то пропустили, ё-моё. Не, ну ладно, типа гора еще есть в зоне большая. То еще, типа, Нави фавориты в данном, на данной карте. Ну это не, блядь. Прыгают, сука, 4 зайца. Блять, они сейчас могут перед Нави... Не, ну Нави увидят, по идее, эту движуху. Так, все, отлично, первого уже спалил. Все, они не пройдут никак уже.
he thinks he's going down here. Eastern Stars getting taken down by Pioneer right on the eastern side. This is the team that moved early off boot camp. Now Navi's having to make a sprint for it. They know they need to get into the circle. They have to do this alongside Big, who are currently still jumping their way through. They will have looted just a little bit, but Navi really didn't have a lot of time.
Но дальше уже не уйдут.
Take-aim gaming. Getting shut down out in the open as our ARB.
Привет, блатной.
This is a good chance.
Brutal affair on the south side.
Блин, зона, господи.
I think one of their players did get knocked. I think it was a player from Big. Take-aim gaming spotted in the meantime.
А чё Тигзи так далеко? Чё он там забыл? Он чё, опоздал, что ли? Или он на перехил сразу? Не понял вообще. Чё это такое? На ровном месте просто. Мекуль, ну блядь, что они сделали? Игроков пропустили, Тигзи, блядь, опоздал в зону. Сейчас вообще непонятно, что там происходит. Он еще пытается доползти. Он вряд ли уже доползет. Вот они, пропущенные беги. Нормально, он на уверенности просто вышел. Ну типа там чел вообще видели, как пострелял.
Big fall just a little bit. Na'Vi still have the res potential there if the crawl is good, but Shockwave are moving up to the ridge line as well. Kitsune cutting down people out in the open, and it's a.
А Тигзи, он смог! Он смог, посмотрите.
Inside the zone, I think they are, and they have cover.
Беги очень не мешает, прям вообще пиздец как мешает. Вот если бы бегов раньше закрыли, сейчас бы не было проблем. Еще беги в зоне. Ну их надо убивать сейчас, ног давать. Через них только. Вот бы там в спину вышел кто-то у тегов. Ага, отлично, хорошо. Так. Он подпустил! Зачем он подпустил? Ну все, ему пиздец. Молодцы, Нави.
We are looking at all our teams in the circle. Beast flushed out. Swave now under pressure. Take-aim gaming at the back. Will be healing a little bit further out. No.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой!
Now he needs to try and take this fight or put some
лежи, лежи, просто лежи.
Might be able to spot it if they crest the ridge. But Swave is suffering. And Na'Vi are
Все, ты давай отдыхаешь. Все. Нави топ-1. А, что, еще не топ-1? Он двоих нокнул? Ну не, здесь Матик должен забирать. Тут вообще новый. Тут чел в опене просто лежит. А, они сейчас рефнутся еще? Тигзи там инфу дает как раз. Прикиньте, да, сейчас хаешка была бы у него одна. Все, найс. Фу, блять. Да, что-то Нави, знаете, они как бы нормально все выиграли, но очень много раз меняли запаску, назовем это так. Часто ошибались, короче.
Very, very good prediction from him, honestly. Unfortunately for the guys, Shockwave were in a spot where a lot of teams were looking at them, and the circle moves away. It is curtains. I think it could have gone either way, though, but I think Na'Vi does play that out strongly. I think the real MVP of that match, though, for me, in terms of just the MVT in this team, most valuable team, would be Big, though. What a performance from them to get toward where they went.
Не, ну не 95%, но процентов 60, наверное, что это их победа будет.
That was just
Даже
a Hail
70.
Mary play. It's either Mickey takes two of them down, they win the game off the back of that, or it all goes horribly wrong. But I respect it because they were playing for the win at the end of the day.
Na'Vi find the final wind to be able to get themselves over that finish line just towards the end. Kitsune. 4 eliminations, but you're right, it felt like there were a couple of times where Na'Vi were slipping. Just that little bit, they did pull it back together because they are just that good, but there were some of those opportunities. I mean, they're
Кстати, я вам так скажу.
the southeast of those ridge lines.
Один момент зарешал всего. Конкретно про победу Нави. Вот когда, помните, Кицун с Юмпа пошел на уверенности, перестрелял, по-моему, вот этот момент. Нет, еще не этот. Я найду его. Так, здесь Беги подходит. Только когда Беги уже прошли под гору, Кицун просто пошел с Юмпа на яйцах и пиздак сломал ему. Ну там просто типа чел должен был нокать. Он очень хуёво пострелял. Блять, да где этот момент? Боже.
Would give them away.
Grasshoppers, big.
Нет, стоп. Я не могу помнить.
Getting taken down by Pioneer.
Вот, скоро сейчас тут будет.
Early off boot camp. Now Na'Vi's having to make a still just jumping their way through. They will have on board.
As our ARB, it's Na'Vi to the position, but Big are starting to take control.
Especially when see it's.
Так, где там вот эта зона нокнулся. Во, смотрите. Вот этот момент просто все зарешал. Просто все. Чек. Вот этот чел должен был 100% нокать Кицуна. Ну прям вот он обязан должен был. Вот обязан прям. Вот, блять, обязан нахуй. Он вообще типа не попадал. А если бы он нокал Кицуна, у него, смотрите, какая ЛГшка, он дальше распикивает Матика. И они 2 в 1 против Матика остаются, и все, типа. Такие дела.
They were able to convert it, and we finally see a Na'Vi win, which is good to see, potentially the start of the momentum that we wanted to see from Na'Vi here.
Yeah, this is where Na'Vi shows up and wins 4 chicken dinners on the day. Every single match they're playing to become first place. You can see TK and Gaming though, Max, you brought them up, doing fairly well here as well. 8 eliminations, 10 placement points. This is a fantastic showing for them.
Иду, короче, покурю.
Back on their stats previously on all their Sanox, and they are really good when it comes to the heal strat. Like they're the new TJB 2.0 from the Western European region, it does seem. And I mean, yeah, they're efficient. They know the heal strat is really good. I have the impression what Take Aim Gaming do really well is they don't use it as their main strat. They still have it available for them. And they just try and play the game, and when they're like, okay, we can't enter the circle, we don't have the numbers anymore, then they commit to the heal strat. It is purely a plan B, and it works a lot of the time for them. So yeah, Take Aim Gaming, I think that they are doing the heal strat the way it should be done, which is not your main playstyle, it's just a secondary option, and so far, it's been going well.
What about Big though, Kalaris? We talked about Na'Vi and Big, particularly at the start of the day. Want to see them step up here. Yeah, it's not a chicken dinner, but it's 13 points, and that's a good sign here out of Big.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of going back to the drawing board here for them for this Sandhawk, and it's kind of a cool start to it all things considered. We know this team as a team that absolutely voraciously will go for that west coast on the North Island, but you know, Na'Vi has been taking up more room than them in some of these previous games, so maybe a little bit of a change, having dropped down south and working their way up. I like the transitions that they were able to make. They were patient, they were calculated, considering that they knew teams would be coming in from that south side, and it did pay off quite nicely. Just not for the full conversion, but very nice indeed.
Yeah. Looking down the list though, we do have Mad Bulls take 2 more points. I think they're on 6, Easy Stars on 4, so lengthening their lead at the top of the table by an extra 2, so they should be at 32 points in the lead. Virtus Pro though 0, unfortunately, so Easy Stars will be ahead of them as we take a look at some of the highlights here. And a lot of action actually in this match, quite a bit here out of teams that were maybe kind of unexpected. Muerte, as we talked about at the start of the day, not having a great match here, but again, it is Sandhawk, and sometimes it just be like that.
I want to jump back on you talking about Virtus Pro here. They had a very odd split. They went for, I believe it was Camper, which
They had Barn as well as a team split up towards the top. They could have
had like a camp on the east. They had Barn split over there, and I don't think it was intentional from TJB because that's not really a TJB move to do on Sandhawk, but they just dropped. There was one player of Virtus Pro instantly take him down. I think the Virtus Pro need to review that split. I don't think it's something that's going to work out efficiently. You can go to Mongnai, for example. Mongnai is free if you want to go for a similar split without being really contested in the early game. It's a bit weird, but here in the finishing moments, you can see that high ground. I was really doubtful they could actually move down from this location, but all the teams are just in the open. They can easily just take a few pot shots at them and then just remain as a three-man. So Nightmare scaring them a little bit at the end, but they're just able to keep the two players alive there.
This is the weird thing about Virtus Pro's position, or in fact any team's position when it comes to Sandhawk right now, because TJB is still doing this roaming thing where they're still a little undecided as to exactly where they are dropping at any given time. Nobody's safe. Unfortunately, and Virtus Pro became the victim here when it comes to that kind of wider split. I mean, you need to identify when you're dropping, okay, is anybody dropping over towards Camp Bravo, for example, in this lobby, given that nobody was, and then maybe just kind of veering off and taking that spot. But it gets a bit treacherous and dangerous with TJB roaming the way they currently are.
Okay, well, I do want to hop away from TJB, though, really quickly and take a look at Na'Vi and their player stats from the whole event. Because I want to see, particularly on their team, who's been standing out for them. Because we've normally seen in the past, Matic, we've seen Tixie as well. I think Tixie was originally like the big star of the team after Kitsune when it came to last season. But we can see here, I mean, damage across the board is pretty similar between, Matic, Tixie, and Kitsune. Matic just a little bit behind. But this is what I was saying before. If you compare them to likes of like maybe Unicorns of Love, where they have one star player, this team, everyone on this team is a star player, which is why we've been so critical about them not performing well so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all expected Na'Vi to have a little bit of a more heated start, especially with how the scrims went, and like, okay, the scrims went really well, should potentially convert to some extent into the actual tournament of PMPL, but it didn't quite happen. But they're a team that I believe is willing to make changes, right, and they're going to get there eventually. The first phase, I gave it the same limit of time for like TJB. I think that the first phase is a good like testing ground. After the first phase, you really need to start finding some consistency. So Na'Vi are, they get there. As long as they get a good phase 2 and phase 3, they can like be pretty comfortable heading in the finals.
Okay, well, cool. Gentlemen, it is time to head into our second match of the day now, as we have Erica coming up. Can't wait to see what's going to happen, and I can't wait to hear the beautiful voices of John Allen and Blake.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. That's not ideal. But yeah, absolutely. I hope so too. I hope you will be able to hear our voices. Hope you can hear my voice.
What are you doing? Are you just phasing in between different locations of the room?
Yeah.
Can't do that. You can only have phase 1, 2, and 3. You've only got 2 phases so far. That's unacceptable.
I'm greedy. What can I say?
You're not greedy. You're not greedy enough. You need phase 4. But right now, you're still stuck in phase 2. But we're right now in phase 1. And we're currently tallying up all these points. We are in day 5 of phase 1. We do have our final day tomorrow coming through. That is day 6 for all those who are wondering. And we will have our Livic played at the end of that day. So the top 12 teams will play out their match for some bonus points coming through into the overalls. And whoever gets the highest overall there will be taking that 20-pointer from the phase 1 home. So heading right into Erangel straight away here and getting things on board. Now, Unicorns of Love back in again. Now, I think that last game where they were able to get the highest elimination count out of the entirety of phase 1 so far has brought some more confidence on board. Now, if I'm Icy, I can, well, I'm not Icy right now. I'm going to be blank, and I'm going to empathize with Icy instead, because if I'm coming from Spring Split, where I don't make it through into all Super Weekends, and despite that, throughout League play and the Super Weekends they played, Icy was able to get a total of 100 eliminations. The only person higher than him was Narvalo with 112, and he played throughout all Super Weekends. So it's a real blow to the mental there. And I think Icy just needs to get back into the game, a little bit more confident, have some teammates that can support him, which he absolutely does now. So I think that last game just brings him back to speed. Unicorns of Love realize, you know what, we do have a good team here. We can perform. And so I'm hedging my bets. I'm hedging my bets on Unicorns of Love this time around, okay? I really do want to see them prove me right here. I think that with a little bit of confidence and a little bit more time, this can be a real superstar team.
I mean, unicorns are loved.
Так идут.
For want of a better way of saying it, they are notorious for chopping and changing their roster and just picking up new rosters, right? The fact that they've stuck with this one is really good news.
Icy has remained. Yeah.
To keep, or yeah, to keep some of their guys on board is
one guy.
Well, yeah, you know.
Ой.
Let's see if they can. Let's see if they can make it work this time around.
Маникера нет никаких.
Right, like it is. It hasn't really given them that chance to develop in the way that we would like to see, because a new roster is always sort of yet to be proven, yet to find a real identity. So we'll wait for that to come through with Icy.
100%. I think that the guys on the left spot at the beginning of the day, they really do have a good supportive unit around them in terms of players. It looks like they are dropping very close to Demoite at the moment, who are really the hot drop heroes at the moment. Now, they're more like the hot drop villains. Fortunately, they do lose a player off the back here. Yes, Unicorns of Love. Prove me right.
I got it right. Yes, that's
all that matters.
What's going on in Blank's mind right now? That would have been
one elimination is a success in my opinion.
Wouldn't it have been so? Oh,
no! Stop it! Don't flush him, please. Okay, he's alive.
It's definitely going down here.
Oh no, Gonzo's
definitely going down. There's no other way. There's no two ways about it, man. I'll hop into the bike and the spray, and there's another out.
Я длинную сигу выкурил. Сотку, знаешь такую? Да, обычных не было, пришлось взять сотки. Сотки это чуть длиннее, чем обычно. Блять, как не посмотришь, ДМР в начале файтится с кем-то. Что ж такое?
Not done me right here.
Don't worry.
I think Unicorns Love will be going out soon.
You can be my friends, Demuerte. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Пиздец.
Anyway, moving on swiftly.
Да, раньше курил самокрутки. Да я что-то забил. Не знаю, кстати, почему. Потому что самокрутки гораздо пиже сигарет. Наверное, потому что мне впадло постоянно крутить.
And you know, they may have lost Old Boy a while back, but Na'Vi, the players they have, currently very, very strong.
Ну, сейчас посмотрим, что Гонзо живет тут. Соло.
This game is where Na'Vi proves me right.
Not last game.
Not last, this game. This
game. Когда, да.
This game.
Don't show their stats. This is... Why have you done? Thank you. Take that away immediately. Why are you rubbing that in my face? No. Look how well they usually do. 6 eliminations average on their angle. What's happened?
How many have they got here? 1.
That's not. It's like 1/6 of a success for me.
Дадаев решил привет эпилептикам передать.
Oh dear.
Привет, Лиса.
Get a drink of water. Do you want to just go?
I need some form of counseling.
Maybe a monster.
Нихуя себе. Так вот как его выбили.
That's the good one. It's
yes, but I know what happened after that. Production is having a right time with me right now.
They are baiting you hard.
This is horrific.
Я не знаю, где Лаки.
Oh. I've never had more fun in the first 5 minutes.
Наверное, уехал куда-то. Он обычно всегда сидит.
And they've left Sosnovka already. Demuerte's in Milta. Why did you drop there?
This is so good.
It's like they heard me.
It's brilliant. Oh dear.
Anyway, I was pleased with Demuerte's performance yesterday. And
they didn't do
I'm
so good.
angrily pleased with their performance today as well.
Well, their last game wasn't.
Он же только вчера сидел. Блять. Да, а там второй в опене просто, блядь! Что за пиздец? Что? Как? Кодексы, вы чё? У них, походу, тачек не было, они бежали тачки искали. Что вообще трэш?
You saw what I saw right last game, John, on Sandhawk. You were there. You were there with me. We watched TJB practically stand still and then took an uppercut to the face. And the uppercut was so powerful that it sent them straight into a wrangle. They just didn't know it started yet. But it also seems to have woken them up, because that rattled the brains and righted things back into place here. So we're back on board with strong TJB question mark, who take that Codex fairly confidently.
За пивом ты хотел сказать?
They're pretty close to that western bridge where ARB and Shockwave both currently reside. Not on the bridge, but in the vicinity. The bunkers for Shockwave right now. A fairly solid position on the south coast. No one really could be trying to push through with the number of teams that dropped on military base. Maybe they're expecting more to push down in from the south, but everybody is either dead or...
Бля, как вы нахуй вообще с телефона смотрите стрим? Я не представляю, типа, это же супер неудобно. Вообще не слышно нихуя, не видно нихуя. Это вообще трэш. Ох, эти мобайл фон энджойеры.
I think he might do some snaking. He might do some good snaking, but we'll see. Looking at the circle though, and time to do some actual analysis. Fielded area, very rough to play around. Na'Vi currently with a 4-man split, so quite bold. And you know, obviously didn't hear the guys from the desk either, where they wish they'd regroup sooner. But they're just getting a lay of the land right now. There's some teams that are very close to them. That's Nexus, Redox, probably running through. And Na'Vi's still just encircling in the vehicles, just trying to figure out where players are around.
Ну спада еще куда не шло, на телефоне это же вообще трэш.
They don't have huge sightlands around one another. And now Na'Vi are considering where to head to next. Obviously, Kitsune starts things off strong versus a full-man squad. That's X-Team over on that side. So quickly, Meku comes in for backup.
Na'Vi have rotated really fast. I mean, they came down from North George. I mean, okay, maybe not really fast, but they started in North George. And their West Coast
Нави чисто поехали, просто кильчик залутали.
I feel like I'm being quite impressed by. It's where they land that tends to be the issue. Ooh, Meku. Ooh, behind the headland, stays alive for now. But their decision-making in terms of timing, I feel, is good. It's their positional, rotational decisions that sometimes get them caught out. Luckily, they are all 4 alive. They can regroup should they choose to.
This is very, you know, relaxed
Ну это гирлянда обычная. Просто так уютнее. И плющ типа растение такое по потолку. Ну не настоящее, естественно.
To locate what they've now called the best position. They've tried out all the other
Бляны такие.
They had the Goldilocks effect of one was just a little bit too small,
Нави решили от центра сыграть. Интересно.
This one is just right now.
Куда они поняли, что... А что они поняли? Да хуй знает, что они поняли. Что-то они поняли.
To centralize themselves up around Quarry, assuming this is most likely going to head down further towards southwest, which is an apt decision. App prediction as well from them. Just considering we were most likely going to move away from Sosnovka, and the only other area it could have really centralized on was Quarry, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you have the chance that it goes down towards the bridge for this circle, but again, like you say, it's just way more likely that this mainland will be the final resting place of this game. Take Aim Gaming, coming down from the northeast side. Yet to exit the blue. We'll be rotating fairly close to Demuerte. Toffee's just about to reach that blue zone on the northeast side. Eastern Stars still
Поздравляю с раком легких.
So still a team out in that northeast side.
Пневмонии. Добро пожаловать.
TJB holding
Привет,
around
привет.
the bridge on the west with the last player for Unicorns Gonzo still on the military island on the north side of it. We'll have to leave fairly soon.
Just don't talk about him. Just let him do his thing. Don't put him under any more pressure. It's really unfair of you, John.
He's going to do great.
Thank you. That's what I needed to hear. And, okay, just don't talk about him. Ignore him.
He's going to do great.
Not even there.
And you're really clever. And we really love having you on the broadcast. And you add so much. Most of that was sincere, but I said it in an insincere way.
Yeah, thank you, dude. That's what I needed to hear. In not the way I wanted to hear it. But TJB, again, like you said, on that western bridge.
Нормально, батя.
I don't know, again, I'll reiterate, because if you weren't here at the start of the game, you missed out some great bants, for one, in which case you should go back on the YouTube feed and re-watch. Very funny, tell you that now. However, TJB was suddenly just the gods of the lobby.
Да что въебал такой?
And just obliterated Codex. And Codex is not a pushover of a team.
Virtus Pro finding
Да ты ж
definitely
типа куришь?
pushovers of teams, but it is the first down for Death Machine. 3 players alive there, just north of the chopsticks.
А, при мелком закурил, план.
So Old Boy sends out wide. Be getting some scouting done. Death Machine disengage or look to from this fight, but Big are actually out to their west now. So a little bit of a sandwich going on.
You know, one thing I've really appreciated about watching the CIS teams come into the Western European region, just where it contrasts with some of the teams we've seen in this region for a long, long time, is just the decisiveness of their pushes and the aggression, right? If they want to take a compound, then everyone's on board with that and they will just rush in. So you saw it just there with Chulika, who, you know, moves in and NASA's trying to back up and send for maybe an angle on the door, but Chulika's just running forward. And NASA's like, aren't we meant to like third party peek each other for a little bit first before we start fighting? Chulika's like, no, I'm playing in first person right now.
I'm busy. I've got things to do.
Yeah, get out of my compound.
I've got a date with a chicken dinner later. Got to get it done, you know.
So?
Middle of the circle, RV, Nexus, Ruthless Esports, currently holding that position. But there's a hard shift up to the northwest.
Че, поедут на обратно? Не
Na'Vi
поедут
now
на
on
гриб?
the edge. Big, slap bang in the center, looking at
Или забьют? Бля,
the
поле
different
пиздец,
Sunny Hills
походу, будет.
compounds now as being potentially solid places to go. If you're maybe a team like Death Machine.
Либо под
goes
горкой
about
вот под
that way.
этой. Ну да, это поле, скорее всего.
Could do, potentially. I think it's one of those cases where, you know, you are 3 down, you're right there.
Не, второй матч.
Might be a case of just survival, but Death Machine tends to play very well when they're slap bang in
Ладно,
the
пионеров
center,
прокнул, кстати.
and they make do with it, and they just turn into those 360 turrets, try to take down as many people as possible. Now, Nexus, who
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой!
activated earlier,
Это чё за врыв
are
такой?
back again, but Meku, just as speedy,
Так,
but
1-1.
2 knocks right off the bat, John.
Размен есть,
Either
хорошо.
way between these two teams, Octavian down, Matic down.
Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй!
But a second found. Nate through the window, Meku.
Еще, да куда
Money and Dixie absolutely decimated that off angle.
Чё такое? Чё это было?
And Nexus tear an RV more than a new one. They find the old ones and
Давай,
more
Серега.
bullets sent their way. Kitsune spraying
Не.
over the wall, the last hope for an RV, but they
Чё-то,
dismounted.
блядь, не пошло.
2 knocks
Я не знаю,
on
нахуй они в
the
этот кемп поехали. Зачем? Им либо в гриб надо было возвращаться, либо оставаться.
Good noise. Appropriate.
Чё-то я вообще не понял. Так, и здесь, конечно же, ДМР на пионеров заехали. И все, да, походу, ДМР закончились. Мы даже не успели посмотреть. Это быстро.
Big will prove me right. Look at this compound they currently hold. This time it's a much quicker rotation from them. They look a lot more confident after that last Sandhawk. Just weren't able to quite bring it home, but you know, this might be just what they need to take a chicken dinner in this match as a full format.
Can't wait for them to die.
3 команды вылетели, ну, уже отъехали. Это Кодекс, Нави, ДМР.
Just let me have this.
Нет.
I don't-
У нас остались ВПшки, пионеры
I think
и
that's against
теги.
my contract, I'll be honest.
I don't know what's
Кубочках
going on
Юники.
here, but I have made many poor decisions this game.
I don't think you have. This is the thing. I don't think you have. I think it's.
I feel analytically correct, you know. In theory, just absolutely horrible shenanigans have occurred, you know. I've gone to the firing range, the guns jammed, you know, the mag won't come out, and the barrel's completely busted. And I came here just assuming this was where I was promised a well-functioning weapon in Unicorns of Love, and I was proven terribly wrong by the hot drop villains of De Muerte.
It's true. And I mean,
And Na'Vi, look at, did you see their position? It was good. They looked like they were having a great time. Meku came in with an instant regroup. And they
Ну
just
да,
let themselves
да,
win,
да.
which is very
Ну вот нахуй
good.
какой смысл ехать было вот в этот кемп? Зачем?
it was.
Объясните
I mean,
мне,
they
блядь,
should have been aware of
зачем?
this crash from Nexus for a while, right?
Is everyone in on
Даже
this?
если бы она направо ушла, вы бы все равно потом последние поднялись кемпа с леса бы сыграли. Ёбаный в рот. Зачем?
It's an anti-blank conspiracy.
Вот что ли дело гриб? Приехали бы в гриб, все было бы заебись.
Fair enough.
That's its new name.
Потом бы
on our
фармили
website,
поле все.
www.antiblankconspiracy.com.
Блять.
.org.gov.me
.net,
UK.
because I couldn't quite get the actual name.
That's right. is very sad.
Посмотрим, как SW сыграют с этой позиции, если они не обосрутся.
I think that, you know, X team still are on that southwest edge, still can prove some stuff to us. Last Sandhawk game, you know, that was a bold push.
Nades from Ruthless Esports, TJB, who looked a little bit stronger early. Can they ride that wave on through? No knocks sent their way just yet. Put one out towards GK first, a pivotal member, unfortunately, for TJB. Getting that knock in one spray, two spray. GK first starting to ramp up now. Ruthless Esports around the side. Only two of them there. Xiao, Lin in the building in front of GK first. Nano wants to go around the side, finds Lin open. Goes for the flush as well. Will be able to claim that if he's not cut down in the meantime. Has to find cover on the backside. Tingsker knocked as well. Hang on a minute.
Так, Ники. Третьим номером решили заехать.
And handedly taken out one of the players from TakeAim Gaming, but Xiao not so lucky. It is just GK first now in this fight.
Там ВП еще закусили с кем-то. С дезами.
GK first has got to show us what he's made of. And he is made of very, very steely stuff. No, fortunately, the grenade does blast straight through.
Найти новых себе, в чем проблема. Вы всегда можете найти с кем поиграть. Так, ВПшки кончились, походу, да, там? Или нет? Да, теперь кончились. Так, нок есть, отлично. Сейчас, возможно, второго. Есть, отлично. А, не, он добил только. Ну, допушить надо просто пойти. Найс, хорош.
Nexus, though, 8 eliminations after what seemed very hairy out in the Gatka fields.
А чё они сидят? А чё Гриб сидит? Алло, блядь, вы чё сидите нахуй? Ебать, они тупят.
Trying to take down X team just in nade range. This is where it becomes a bit difficult for X team, considering they don't have a whole.
У них сейчас вообще кто-то может на тачке взять, поехать вот сюда на гору и в спину всех выебать. О, анализ, красавчик, догадался.
Potentially looking to roll up on this hillside and take out two teams. It seems like three-way fights have been the stalwart presence of this lobby. This match so far, Nightmare spotted in the grass, but will he be able to get the knock? No, Trazen wins out that duel in a forwards position. Nightmare might be able to get the flush, but it is refragged there by Aza. The crawl back from Trazen, potentially going all the way to the tower. They know they're going to have to leave on this hard shift.
Yeah, Bazzi just has to send away. There's too many teams over here. Shockwave got themselves into a nasty, precarious problem that they'll have to now deal with as they're very far out of the blue. And Big will prove me right, okay? That I promise that it's coming. The big win is on its way.
And next is crashing them, and they're all dead.
It's not happened yet. Stop looking at the script.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, that's page 57. We're supposed to be on page 56, right? Yeah, okay. Just getting my...
It's re-recorded, isn't it? It's pre-recorded.
Oh, it's all...
You've already done this game to trick me.
It's all a farce, isn't it?
It really is. I'm saying it right now. Somehow Shockwave are able to get all members back up on their feet. And we're not too many teams surrounding them. They should just be able to get out of dodge. Omar, I will say, for the Arabian Champions, had a pretty good run for himself. Pretty pleased with his performance recently. Unfortunately, Shockwave have just a lot of vehicles. Just send it in. How do you get across the death fields, though? That's the real question.
It is going to be tricky, right?
Там иксы еще выжили как-то. Ну, один чел, вернее. Это что, это не у меня, если что было. Блять. Обсерверы, походу, пьяные.
But I did, and now I know that you guys planned this whole game.
What? No, didn't happen. Sorry, what?
Найс место. А пионеры, а чё? Алло, вы чё, блядь? А куда они смотрят? Они вообще не смотрят в эту сторону. Они все вчетвером скидываются по горке. Не по горке, ну, вернее, по РБ, да. Ну, четвером зафокусили, получили ног. Они еще пропустили въезд бегов. Бля, если сейчас пионеры это въебут, это пиздец будет. Это такой фиаско будет. Ну, вроде по ХП пока нормально все. ХП ебут. Всё. Без потерь, слава богу. Мне просто на секунду показалось, что пионеры все зафокусили ARB и забыли вообще нахуй про спину. И беги со спины с гадки приехали их пушить.
I don't get to take this away from Pioneer. I think they've played a good game so far, and they're not going to prove me right. I think they've proved themselves to be a better team that can take chicken dinners here on our angle. And this is probably the best storyline. Anyway, I'm not going to say that because they haven't taken the chicken dinner yet. Okay, I will not.
Раскатка пошла.
I've cursed 3 teams.
I like Nexus for this one. I'm gonna be honest.
Бля, как же они уверенно катались.
It's my feeling.
Stop the great cursing of blank.
That's right. You're worse than Max, honestly. 3 in 1 game is very impressive. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Shockwave spotted out by
У них понятно, у них ХГ тут.
players of Nexus. Their location now known.
Походу у нас финалочка 4 в 4 будет.
Sort of a slow decline of terrain away from them.
Бам.
Gives them some rolling cover.
Ой, какая хаешка, какая, бля, хаешка.
It will be difficult to get back into it, but that's a really well placed nade over towards Hakoni. Aza doesn't really want to stand up, doesn't want to make that dash. That is a good nade, and it's right on the vehicle as well.
Ну, еще одну давай. Все, вот это похоронное. Пока. И соло-чел где-то еще живет, нет? Да, вот в базе. И он, скорее всего, на руку... Ой-ой-ой-ой. Так, есть ног. Но здесь поднимутся они. Надо зону ждать. Вот зона сейчас все решит. Пионеров вроде есть укрытие. Хороший дроп упал. Пионером на руку, он как кавер сыграет. Вот базе должен руинить сейчас этих нексусов. Потому что он ближе всего к ним находится. Но проблема в том, что пионеры ползут сейчас. И они могут на базе. Да не, он слишком далеко. Пизду. Не должны наступить. Повезло, что Нексусу выкинули все хаешки на этих... Кто там, SW были? В этом плане бы сейчас было бы сложнее. О, пионеров, по идее, раскида дохуя должно оставаться, потому что они в кемпе сидели. Сколько еще игр? Еще 4. Не, еще 3. So they will have a little bit of cover available to themselves, but no nades for Bazzi. I would like to see how much utility the guys from Pioneer have. So unfortunate that the circle centers on Bazzi as well. But luckily, no one really wants to get too close to that central area anyway, and he's still quite invisible. А, зона, кстати, пропустил. Ну, зона не вам, не нам, типа, зона за базе.
In fact, that right there is a dead giveaway. Yeah, that is not getting naded. As you can see, Octavian already picks one out of the bag, thinks about it, and then shuffles back on over. Fash picks up the Groza. This is going to be he really has to perform well with that Groza right now, just because it will be instantaneous knocks. And if you are able to transfer
Livik.
Way, that Groza is going to be instrumental.
Ой-ой-ой.
I think it is. Oh, Octavian knows. 7 frags as well.
Он, скорее всего, даже не в него кидал.
Another one.
Просто по приколу. 7 гранат, что?
For these final moments.
Oh, everyone's sending nades.
Ну это вообще на одном хп. Но это сейчас должна взорвать его.
Low. Yeah. Get rid of
Да.
that guy.
Все, 4 в 4.
He's done. He starts to take third place though. It's not bad considering coming from northern Yasnaya down to southwest and the circle shifts up towards the north. It is difficult. Pioneer are pretty close together. That does worry me slightly. Playing as a double unit, it's not bad because you can quickly try and refrag one another. Octavian in the vehicle. You'd imagine this is for scouting purposes. As soon as they breach this ridgeline is where things are going to get tricky. Smoke does reveal some of the location, but they're just trying to isolate these really edge players here. You can see EXO on the side, as well as our other player right on the right side as well. So if they can isolate these two main targets, should be able to get some pretty quick knocks in here, John. So Redox has to be really careful with this position.
Circle is right in between these two teams as well, so no one really has hard shift towards them. It is just a matter of winning out this firefight. Smoke's utility being burnt.
Well, Nexus is clumped now. Just tossing.
Сейчас он выкинет все свои 7 хаешек. Бля, откуда у них столько раскидывает? Это же вообще пиздец.
Is close. We'll get a little bit of information coming out from that one. Smoke's absolutely everywhere, and I think Pioneers just biding their time.
Они вообще кидают, вот везде хаешки кидали, только не туда, где пионеры. Просто все закидали.
Pioneer aren't, right? So you could start. They know they're further back, yeah. They know they're further back now because they got a long-range nade in. They know they're sort of towards the middle of their arc of fire.
Смотрите, как они одинаково действуют даже в финальной зоне. Трое с одной стороны и один флангует. Тут трое с одной стороны и один флангует. И все просто зеркально. То этот сюда ползет, этот сюда ползет. Блять. Какой-то, блядь, какая-то матрица. Доказательство того, что мы живем в одной большой системе. Ой-ой, молик хороший. Ой-ой-ой, хорошо! Надо вставать и пиздить. Отлично, есть. 1 в 1. Давай, Фачи. Он лоу хп. Ну, блядь, да попади ты, сука, в пятку ему. Бля, Фачи, блядь, ты чё? Ой, блядь. Да, Нави, блядь, и Нави у нас, блядь, победитель этой карты. Охуеть, спасибо, папаша, блядь.
Greets the Grim Reaper for a second, asks him to borrow the scythe so he can continue just mowing down the wheat and mowing down the Pioneers in those final moments. Goodness me, and unfortunately, Pioneers are not able to touch that win. And the dead giveaway buggy turns out to be the savior at the end of the day, John. So something crazy happens there. And Fash is not able to take the shots just underneath. The buggy's too low. I think that Pioneers stepped up too early. They got a little bit too excited there. We're ready to finish the game, but unfortunately for them, you know, Nexus, they're not done until they're done. Now that is a huge step up in performance for Nexus, and it looks like they've kind of found that winning combo there now with Redox and Octavian in, with Doran as well as EXO. They seem to be really good, and that's even considering the awkward start they had. They were hovering around Gatka though, so initially they were in the correct place.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to work out very well from them. Nexus, I can't remember which team was it they took down. It was either Big or Na'Vi. I think it was Na'Vi that they managed to take a really effective fight against in the midst of all of that with the off-angle nades, with solid spray downs through the window. Really good. It's the time to do it, right? They have still got an opportunity to launch themselves up these tables, right? They started a little bit low. good news.
It's just funny to me, honestly, considering, you know, I picked all the teams that, you know, I thought were on the rise. It turns to be the team on the very lowest rung of the ladder who's able to really pull things back up there.
Не включить, в смысле, камеру накрыть.
And we'll see you over in the next game.
Well, you forget the best part of that match was Max predicting Pioneer and Nexus shutting him down at the very end.
This happens just to me. I hate this so much. It's a 3v1 at the end, and Dora's like, I'm gonna stop you right there, okay? It's not okay. I don't know. I mean, he got to the buggy, right? Like, respect is due at that point. He had the buggy, he had the best angle, and he got himself through of the eliminations at the end, right? It was
Короче, я
supposed to happen
ушел.
when you have such a good spot in a field finish like that, but still, yeah, okay, I'm salty right now.
You did better than us, Max, but it doesn't get you a point. That's the downside for you.
Exactly. Half a point? No? Can we?
No.
No? Okay.
You know what? Let's subtract a point because he's being really needy right now. Trying to get some extra point here somehow. But yeah, obviously we did get to see that match, and more importantly, we get to see, you know, Nexus. Fantastic match of them. We've seen Nexus in so many different forms over the last year and a half, 2 years, and it seems like they found a pretty decent kind of grouping here of players. But again, they still have a lot to push for. They have a lot of points they need to claw back, but Nexus able to pull things off extremely well. And this drop we were talking about, so awkward. And I think the conclusion you guys came to was they're both just looking to pick up the same vehicles pretty much.
Yeah, I think that was Kalaris' point, actually. Yeah, they were potentially trying to contest for that location. It is weird that at this point we're still seeing these weird clashes happen for, like, you know, some resources like cars or potentially compounds. So definitely something they can learn over moving on forward. But man, some of these fights you just saw during this comeback, like, you were seeing the fights from Nexus and they were so quick. They eliminated Navi really quickly. They eliminated Death Machine really quickly, and they still survive as a 4-man crew, and they still had a lot of utility at the end. I think we saw, what was it, Octavian here, Kalaris, was 8 eliminations, 8 nades at the very end of that game because they just looted everything. They were the Raptors of the lobby, and they just got all that loot to finish off the game.
Yeah, they were on the warpath with Nexus, and I think one of the most important things about a field finish like this, when you're seeing this amount of utility still in play, is to know when to go to the buggy. Not necessarily if you need to go to the buggy, but when you go. The reason being is it's very easily in nade range if you go too early, therefore you're just going to get naded out, and it's kind of problematic. But beyond that buggy, there's no official hard cover in a circle like that. So being able to know when to go so that you're, in inverted commas, safe, and then also being able to utilize that for the angles, etc. Very, very well done here by them. They'd already had a blinder of a game, never mind the finish, where, to be fair, I don't think Pioneers should have been able to get to where they did in the circle anyway. I felt like maybe people could have, like, blasted them upon entry, but they were fortunate in their entrance to that, and then from there, Nexus was able to eventually finish it off. It was close, though.
Okay, well, they finished it off. They got themselves a chicken dinner, some extra cheeky points on their side as well, but we do have a little bit of time until we head into our next match of the day. Early on today, we did learn about how you can be a flanker role, a little bit of description from it. What about the scouting role? Let's go and find out with John Allen once again.
A scout is one of the most crucial roles in the team due to the stakes involved. In competitive PUBG Mobile, enemy teams lie waiting for you with traps in most unexpected places. And when you don't have the zone, looking for a safe space becomes a deadly task. That is why a team needs a player who is experienced in taking the risks of scanning spots from a distance and sharing that necessary intel with the team, so the rest of the members can travel to locations safely. A scout must have superior map knowledge as they search for vantage points in the zone. This not only involves knowledge about every particular angle the location provides, but also avoiding driving through such angles where enemies can easily bring you down. Scouts must scan the target location multiple times before sharing confident intel. Depending on the circle, they might also have to make the decision themselves whether the team must push to a certain location or not. It is recommended to appoint the IGL of the team as a scout, as they can make decisions for the team while having first-hand information to work with. Scouts need to make sure that they always pinpoint the location of interest by using the universal marker, so that teammates don't get lost across different directions and calls get miscarried. Even after landing on a place, if the scout sees the situation is lost, they need to convey the message instantly, so that the team rotates away from the location. even if it means leaving the scout alone in front of the enemies. That is why maintaining a distance of at least 100 meters between the scout and the team is a must. As for vehicle choice, the buggy is best suited for scouting, but you can also consider using the Dacia or the UAZ if you're worried about getting stuck in a rough place when enemies pop off your tires. In short, scouting is all about knowing which line to cross and which not to. Watch the pros take it on in the next intense PUBG Mobile esports match.
Oh, okay. So that's what the scout's doing. So normally when I'm the scout for our team, I just end up getting eliminated right away, and then my team is happy about it.
Да,
But
приветик.
gentlemen, we do have our next match of the day coming up here in
Кто
just a
только
few
пришел.
seconds. I'm kind of curious to see how things are going to roll down here. We got Miramar, our only one of the day, because we have double Sandhawk and double Aaron Gels. What you guys' thoughts coming into this one? Just real quick.
I still feel like I want to see Game Lord, you know, do well. In the past, Game Lord
Я
was
сегодня
really
пораньше,
good. Miramar
так что мы не будем
and, I
сегодня
think
досмотреть,
they've
сейчас
always
остовываю.
silent after their first win,
Сорян,
first game
я
of
в
the
итоге
first
в центр
game.
поеду просто.
I'd like to see Game Lord
Так что
potentially
сейчас
step up here on Miramar.
досматриваем катку
Okay. Well, you know
и
what,
ББ.
Boris, you don't need to give your thoughts because you're handsome and you're winning on the prediction game. But you know who does have to give their thoughts? It's our casters, John Allen and Blank.
Well, I, for one, think that Max is a very handsome man as well. I don't know about you, Blank, but, you know, we've got to back up our boy on the desk. He's getting a hard rap there.
Yeah, he's a real cutie, is Max, and that's what it's all about. Look, Max, he's got the big brain and the cute face, and the brain's not so big that it deforms his head, but, you know, actually enhances his head in a way.
All right, Megamind. Let's get into the game. Miramar on the cards for these teams. We're looking for big point games, as we always are, Blank. It's going to be good, it's going to be hot, it's going to be sandy over on Miramar.
I'm not doing any predictions this game because we all know how that goes. Not well, apparently. But we will be heading over. Max says he wants to see a bit more out of Game Lord. I want to see a bit more of Unicorns of Love. I'm not going to really say their name too loudly because...
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, good. I whispered their name. So technically I did say it, but I'm not going to say it anyway. Do you think?
I know he said. Yeah.
Can you say it? I feel like if you say it, it'll be fine.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love, right?
Yeah, I want to see
Unicorns of Love.
do really well. Thank you.
Right. Okay, got it.
So now we're good to go. We're heading straight to the game. Moneyken's still on top with 36 eliminations for Codex. And I think that comes a lot from our initial weekend of Phase 1. And he's just piled a few more on top of it, which has been quite...
ВП игра не идет.
Quite uncatchable for a lot of these other teams to get towards that position. The Nexus do look a lot better after that last one. The question is whether that pace can continue.
А что такое
They
там
did
было?
seem to have a very nice
Это
idea of what
Денис
they
там
were doing. But
опять бан
right
хочет.
now, I'm looking over towards Big, who don't have Pioneer on their tail this time around. It's just Team Doom behind them. So perhaps it's those two teams who are going to start popping off. And Ruthless Esports have decided after their nasty run-in, I believe it was a couple of days ago, with Pioneer to just completely not go near Chumacera.
Понятно.
Lane path, a little bit closer to Los Leones this time around. We had a Los Leones finish. I want it. I like it.
Ну, кстати, да, лосиком попахивает.
Looking
Здорово,
for those
здорово.
drops right now, but it looks like we might not see any for the moment. Oh no, X Team ARB. Close to each other. Could be
Yes,
twice.
please. More of that. X Team. I like X Team recently. They've been real crazy, you know, real slick with it. They just want to try everything out. They're the type of people that go to a buffet and they don't turn their nose up at anything. They come back with 8 plates, and I am a big fan of that kind of behavior.
Я обставился
they're gonna
крысами
try out hot dropping on top of Arab champions.
и
Let's see how
сижу
this goes down.
кайфую. Блин, сейчас я камеру пониже чуть
For
опущу.
now. So it seems. Andy knows there's players over here. ARB are going to know there's players here as well. I've seen those parachutes.
Обвесился
On the northern
крысами.
side as well, it was a little bit of a mixed
Могу себе позволить.
area drop between Game Lord and RV, but they have extricated themselves
Так.
finally. Shot started
Там
raining
иксы
down.
нокают
Zombie
РБ.
gets a nice little angle with the scar. Modi spotted.
Что нового? Ой, блядь, да много чего нового.
Who you mean? Scouted?
Да, лень объяснять уже. Уже. Как будто я так
Yes,
всем
Mike,
рассказываю.
scouted.
Да и не знаю, много всего произошло. Почти год прошел,
Look, man,
команд.
you did the video, not me.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
I won't. It was unforgettable. Omar trying to hold this one down. I think that so far, again, I will say that this guy has been fairly big for the team. Hamodi gets away by the skin of his teeth. Very low, though. Just behind the pickup truck.
Сейчас пока все равно ничего интересного не происходит.
Just pick things up.
It's true.
Not the pickup truck that you're thinking of. If you're American, at least.
I suppose. Is it a dump truck?
Could be a dump truck.
Ooh, could be.
I don't want to dump in here on Miramar, though.
No. Not a good idea.
It's all so precious. I want to take everything with you.
It's very slow and quite
С
quiet,
белки это
this
не
game.
белки, это
No
крысы.
one's really going for this fast push. I mean, Beg for Mercy seemed to want to go in. There's only the one knock.
Yeah. Arab champions really just have not been having a good time.
Ну да, было
I
прикольно.
mean, X team noticed that they were getting put to sleep by death machines over and over, and now they're like, well, we could have a bit of that. 3 eliminations. They're better than Arab champions on Miramar. I think a lot of that
Не,
comes from
белок нет.
yesterday, though,
Сап-сап.
where they were the controllers. Andy is in deep water.
Starting to cajole this fight. Beg for Mercy not quite getting the angle, and Andy actually getting sprayed down with a micro Uzi. Were they at? Gets that first aid off
Белка?
as well.
Прикольно. У меня бурундук был.
Champs move through, get that flush in. Beg for Mercy, spotted by Jamaz. Don't know if this location is known. I feel like it is. Yeah, definitely eyes on the rock for Beg for Mercy. Modi pushes forwards towards Zombie. Nightmare with the backstop could be spotted as well. It's looking good for ARB champions right now as they find another onto Zombie. Immediately they're going to know where the high ground player is for X team, but is it too little too late? A nade could be popped over the top here.
Все, они теперь свалили, по
It's
столу
Nightmare,
бегают.
1-for-1 on the trade, but that's bad news when you're down so many. Beg for Mercy breaks out wide, and Jamaz has the angle around the side, needs to win this trade to stay alive for X team.
Еще весь в шерсти крысиной. Чё ты пришел?
Low, but not low enough.
Чё ты пришел?
I mean, X team gave it a good try, a good go. I think they gave away their position far too early at times.
Привет, Камар.
I feel bad for Beg for Mercy, though, because in that position, playing at least in my games on Miramar, it does seem as if you would be able to take like the long-range shots, just send them. But the vehicles there do match up in a way that when you try and take that angle, you know, it's completely blocked off. And only you're very lucky if a couple of bullets go through and hit Jamaz there. So, yeah, they tried it. Again, I respect it. They're the 8-platers.
8 platers. I like it. I find that to be unconscionable as buffet behavior.
Really?
Yeah.
Бля, это не я. Вы видели, вот мои руки. Он, блядь, подошел, нажал на клавиатуре. Пиздец, урод. Он подошел, нажал на клавиатуре на кнопку, и у меня сцена переключилась в OBS.
I wouldn't get like sweet and sour chicken and rice, and then also bacon and eggs on the
Ow.
same plate.
That's why you have 8
Да
platers.
куда ты лезешь?
Interesting.
Different plate, different meal.
I'm coming
Ну
around
чё
to
ты
it.
там? Вот ты чё ты там?
Yeah, exactly. You could really put those plates away.
I can.
I just want to try.
У меня просто
all the
чел теперь на
things.
плече сидит.
I remember being on a.
Хочет на голову залезть ко мне.
This is a very big tangent. But I
Вот
remember
что он
being on a
делает?
boat. It was a boat buffet.
Okay.
Um,
How many
felt
boats?
very awkward going up to get all the food there because we were
Второй
on a
просто по
boat.
столу бегает. Бля, вот что вы делаете,
I
сука?
think you were there. Yeah, I didn't really want to walk around too much. I was like, so just sit on the boat.
I was also at that buffet.
Yeah. Well, now you know my true feelings about that buffet. I did not like it.
You had an okay time, I guess.
Had an okay time at the boat buffet.
Like, let me tell you something. Your anecdotes are.
Ну, заебись, и он меня еще обоссал.
A little bit more.
Ебаная крыса.
Didn't know that about me. Now you do. Game Lord
Сейчас приду.
up towards TJB. These guys had a little bit of a scuffle early on in the phase. I had to go at it again, but this time not in Hacienda.
High nade from Xiao. Is it? No, never.
Oh, that looked cool though. I like that.
It did really. The tension built perfectly on that arc.
Yeah,
That could have been the Batman.
it could have been. Victor, on the other hand, throws a very non-plus grenade for me. That was just right over the top. Wasn't cool at all.
That was a Suicide Squad nade.
Yeah. No suspense.
Why do you expect me to care about this nade's progression? There's no character arc.
No character arc on this nade, dude. Need you to make me feel the nade. Nade's lives are pretty short-lived, and so is Victor. Of course, it's GK first. So sends those bad boys whistling over towards his position.
Does get the res fairly easily, but Xiao is right there. 3 of Game Lord right behind this ridge.
Oh no.
Now Valo wants to trade nades with Lin, needs to loose it before it goes up. There he goes.
Пиздец.
Doesn't get a knock in response. Xiao spotted over that ridge line as well. A long cooked nade for Xiao, but taken very, very, very low. Everybody healing now for Game Lord. So is Xiao.
He's playing such a dangerous game here.
Where's the bat nade? Come on.
Really do need another nade of that caliber coming through. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. GK first, once again, has to play savior for the team. You see death machines off in the distance, and seeing other teams rotating through is not pleasing, especially when you're out in the open like this.
Yeah, it has to reposition. It's going to call for the team to reposition as well. They're going to fade away from this one because they are absolutely in a valley.
Надо телефон, что ли, на зарядку поставить?
So even though they lose that little scuffle, they have a little bit more survivability moving forwards. Xiao spotted out, but that gives GK first the time to get halfway up. Unfortunately, that's as far as he's going to get. As the spray is good, vehicle goes up in flames. There is a little bit of cover. Suppressing fire can be supported, and a smoke popped in as well.
Yeah, Game Lord looked like they had this on lock at the moment. Really
Это третья игра сейчас.
TJB is going anywhere with the enforcers.
А, ты для меня спрашиваешь, ну ладно.
Shackling on the manacles here.
Извини, что свой пиздак открыл.
Drop some smokes down, but I think either way.
Блин, я их загоню домой, а то они что-то охренели.
Most teams have moved
Просто воруют
towards
везде.
Bandita. Death Machine taking up that central position again, but they are currently split
Давай,
between
лезь.
them and the Arab champions. Might just be able to get themselves some retribution for all the times
А,
that they
тупица,
fell just a
блин.
little bit short there in Picardo.
Xiao potentially getting rolled around on here. Akashi and Victor fast up for the duo, but the off angle for Xiao might go unknown here. What can he do in this spot? It's going to be the all-important position. Victor burns GK first back down, and the nade puts the final nail in. Narvalo hits the deck, does get knocked as he tries to stand back up to reposition. That's the second knock over towards Narvalo, and now it's Tingsker and Xiao as the last duo for TJB, pushing forward onto Game Lord's position. Rops is there, but he's far away. If they can get this push, if they can get these early knocks, and there's a third party from Ruthless Esports coming on through as well, Game Lord's forwards position starting to get punished.
It's just taken too long here. I think even the push up towards TJB's position was really dangerous. I mentioned it before that, you know, you're pushing into open ground. No matter what happens to TJB now, you might not get the
Опа забрал. Нави забрали первую катку, вторую катку забрали почти пионеры, но в хате там что-то не пошло. А третью сейчас смотрим.
Akashi can get flushed. Robs has the mini 14, so has that DMR suppressing fire position.
Сейчас ДМР опять вайсы будут. Походу. Или нет, они спалили. А чё за беги... Вернее, что за гениальная позиция от бегов? Они целенаправленно, что ли, ждут ДМР? Нави все не очень хорошо. ДМР заебись, сейчас по левой заеду, там все фри. Прикольный хардшифт такой. Че, мажор прайс сейчас? Ничего, отдыхают. Мы уже отыграли свое.
Spots the helmet there. We'll know exactly where Robs is. Gets the cook on perfectly, making sure that he still knows where he is. Doesn't quite place the nade on the money, but it's kind of not going to matter because you get a second chance, and that one's a little bit better. Still not quite there all the way, but knows the amount of damage is poured in. Just says, you know what? I'm just going in. I'm just peeking, and that's it.
Yeah, it's simple finish. I mean, you can never be too careful, especially with Na'Vi coming in through the blue side outside the zone. This was that just absolutely killer nade that was sent through. And you know what? TJB have stayed up through all of it. I don't really think they'll be leaving that ditch anytime soon, though, John. I think they'll be held out there.
Они, кстати, хорошую горку заняли. Шоколадную.
And Mad Bulls at the moment. Mad Bulls lose one player on the push. It's Skills who's down already, and there's two players in the back currently holding the compound. Zerik's going to have to make something happen. It's a 1v1, but there's support coming.
You potentially don't expect there to be a player there for Mad Bulls, but there we go. The nades from Mad Bulls do finally take down TJB. Na'Vi now taking up the position on that northern side after sweeping Game Lord away. And it looks like this valley is a big point of contention for a lot of teams. You can see Ruthless Esports on the south, Mad Bulls on the west.
Если кодекс отлетели. Кодекс не отлетели, аж кодексы живут. В прошлой игре кодексы топ-2 взяли. Ой, это ведь, сори, пионеры были, да, проебался. А сейчас-то кодексы живут. Да, сегодня людей очень немного. Это удивительно, выходной день вроде.
Pump up some of those placement points, but yeah, no one wants to head down towards Death Valley, and because of the playing path, you have a ton of teams down towards the southeast who are all just battling, duking out at the moment.
Образование
There's a lot of
среднее.
roads in this area too, so even crossing is going to require utility to be used, and later on that utility is not there for you. Na'Vi though have eyes on towards Death Machine, are happy, all on his lonesome inside a compound. So is this 4v3 going on? Tixi has taken a fair bit of hits though.
Really crucial that he didn't get knocked in that.
О, там Титаны еще катку выиграли, найс. Так, у нас хардшифт опять вниз. Да мы с кайфом пока еще. Нави дальше по горе будут играть. Надо... Интересно, мы дотянутся в кемп всем? Потому что в идеале, конечно, чтобы мы дотянулись кемп, Нави бы сыграли, наверное, на горе. А дальше пусть разбираются. Есть ротация. Всегда на Африку играть параллельно. Что-то ВП в каком-то говне сейчас. Не могут себе позицию найти. Надо на гору заезжать перед собой. Я ими вы сдохнете. Как же они катаются? Они туда-сюда просто ездят, не могут места найти себе. Боже, что это за... Задние сбили? Не сбили? Не сбили, нормально уедет.
That's what PUBG Mobile is all about, is making sure that you have all-round ability to ensure that you are given those opportunities.
Ну все, вот заехали на горку, там проблемы. Они спину пропустили, бля!
Looking pretty happy with themselves. Virtus Pro though, pretty close. ARB, pretty close. Virtus Pro in the circle, getting sprayed down by Team Doom.
Ну какой Тулика, ну что ты?
Yeah, they're struggling. They're looking for somewhere to hold out, but right on the edge here, coming in is not easy. They're also contending with...
ВП надо было дальше проезжать, вот где думы, на эту гору. Просто катались, не могли места себе найти. Пиздец, что за позиционка? Они как будто карту типа вообще не знают.
for Ruthless Esports, but they're only on 2 players and needing to get some healing done as well. Not quite in this next circle, so still some way to go. The roll done. Roll done, roll down. The M24 in hand, wants to pop a shot, swaps out to the M4 and the close hold for 0. Needs to play around this vehicle, get 1 or 2. There is 1 on the trade, as there is backup from that ridgeline. Omar probably wanting to try and get this res, but Frosty, the last player now from Doom, putting a nade over on in. Trying to keep 0 alive, but has work cut out for him. Does get taken down by a nade. Pulled the pin on that as well, so might have dropped it. There's a fast flush, and the spray towards the back lines. Gonna get tailed for just a moment. The Murado not really giving that much cover, and that should be it. A nice spray from Hamodi, sees them down, but they lose 2 on that push.
Привет, привет, красавчик.
I think they just got torn a little bit on the barbed wire moving through into the zone itself, and by barbed wire I mean all the teams around them. It's really tough. Mad Bulls were able, with the position they had on the ridge side, to
Я не понял, что ДМР сейчас что еще на той стороне делают.
a lot of third partying going on, and decided instead just to take one of the prime compounds within this next zone. Unfortunately, Circle
ДМРам надо сейчас горку занимать вот эту и потом закрывать кодексов. Ну, либо растянуться сейчас вот здесь, закрыть кодексов, а потом переехать на горку.
Really just looking at this, Big still got a strong shout into this game for Romanian men, also with 4. Okay, go on, focus.
Oh, okay. Take aim gaming. Shot at down.
И у них здесь конечная, к сожалению.
This has got to be where it comes to a close for them. Death Machine won't let this one lie. That Molotov is right on the money. I don't even think they saw them. They just put that ordnance downhill. Na'Vi with their 2 players, Tixie and Matic, have got broadside on Death Machine, but the smoke cover is just a little bit strong. Ruthless Esports are there as well, taking these shots. NASA drives up the hill to get him a little bit faster on the reverse. This is Raz that just got spotted out by Na'Vi. It was 2v4 at this stage, and Unicorns had to push past Na'Vi towards the circle.
Ну, они типа без файта закрыли их. Тут как бы не... Да, окей, просто закрыли на ротацию. 2 тачки подловили.
Unbelievable combo. And I think Tixie's learned a lot of restraint over the years playing for Na'Vi now. It used to be that.
Ну, я бы не сказал, что это типа прям 2 в 4. Это из серии, что типа 1 в 3, там, 1 в 2. Нет.
You know, Na'Vi will start to rack up some of those placement points. The difficulty for them now is that they're one of the few.
А сейчас они будут чекать кодексов и ДМРов. И будут им мешать. А, Матика нокнули. А чё ДМР? Стоп, а где пионеры? А где ДМР? Не понял. А, стоп, пионеры все, да? Нет? Не вижу. Я что-то вообще нихуя не понял. Ну, походу, да. Походу, ДМР закрыли пионеров и переехали. В смысле? А кто сверху был? Кто над ДМРами был сверху? Ой, кодексы, сори. Блять, почему я путаю постоянно кодексов и пионеров? Боже. Нихуя себе. А чё, Ингуш там сзади остался? Не понял.
To take that one down. I mean, it must have been the amount of damage that poured on in. Big swing. I mean, Swave had oversight as well. I think that's what you got to consider. It's that team fire they're able to immediately send in. I think it's something that Big's usually very good at. That's a good circle for them as well. Certainly effective. It's a really good circle for them. Hard shift up to the northwest, right? And Na'Vi close, Demuerte close.
Какой прох подбегов?
And the big issue.
А что мы там делать? На левую горку подбегов? Там вроде есть зона. Ну да, да. Больше вариантов нет. Но там еще фуремы. О, отлично, супер. Так. И там еще RB в спине. Бля, у Мэдов сейчас все идеально должно сложиться. Сейчас смотрите. Сейчас вот это все файтится. И мэды под это дело заходят, закрывают все, что тут происходит, и потом формят весь низ. Тут если мэды сейчас глупость не сделают никакую, они выиграют эту катку.
The bullets do the job for him. Mad Bulls take out Na'Vi. 5 teams remain.
Very awkward. I think Big now have to kind of dip from all further interactions in this lobby just for a little while because they're playing downhill. It's not going to work out too well for them in the future going forward. If they want to keep taking shots in, really, they just have to wait for Foramania men and Mad Bulls to go at it. I think the difficulty is that Mad Bulls are feeling pretty good about themselves on this eastern side. They know everything's cleared off further east, considering they were cleared it. So now Foramania stay alive, but Mad Bulls, they are doing some serious work, and Big will have to contend with them if they make it too clean.
А добивать... Он боится добить его. Да! Блять! Ладно.
Will be picked up. ARB moving up with the duo. Wadea takes a lot of damage there, but stays up. And Amodi can stay in position. Start establishing their spot potentially to push into this next circle. They've got the rest of the four.
Ну, есть.
Amodi has to deal with the Mad Bulls as well, and it might just be too much to deal with.
Все, мэдам просто сейчас на два фронта надо работать. И не пустить никого. Это ловушка.
Extremely confident player here, John. Now the loot crate comes down into position. This nade has to push the Mad Bulls back. If it doesn't, you know, it might just well be knifed out.
Ну как так? Ну ладно, скиллс хотя бы Рема забрал одного. Ну куда? Кого, блядь? Как ты даешь ему играть, Зерыч? Ты же слышишь его? Пиздец. Просто один бит всю команду кошмарит. Пусть ресается, Зерыч должен допушить его хоть. Блядь, да как? Они еще не реснулись, ну пиздец.
He gets the spray over towards ARB as well. Big are cleaning up this
Ну
final.
да, блин, обидно.
Last to stand for Mad Bulls. Looks for the spray with the UMP over the ridgeline. The nade a little bit wide. And here comes the push. They do line up just a little bit. 30 bullets in the magazine. Is it going to be enough? Mazzaro down, but there's the wide swing. And Big take it home.
Yeah, both sides, I think that, you know, Beast in the end there making the wide swing back around to take down Monkey. In the end, for Mad Bulls, that is a difficult win. A difficult loss.
Обидно. Я думал, мэды заберут. Ну вот то, что Зерыч профукал перед собой Биста. Бист, по сути, выиграл игру бегам.
Where Beast, basically, it all hangs in the balance for him. He has to hit a good nade. He has to get at least one knock. And in the meantime, Mazzaro, as well as Mihi, who were both knocked beforehand, send up towards the top side. I believe it wasn't Mihi, it was the other player on Big there. Send up towards the top side and sweep on the right-hand side and get high ground over Mad Bulls as they're pushing down the hill. Beast, again, it's a lot that falls on his shoulders, but he's able to just about, like Atlas, hold that one up.
Ну чё, ладно, все, я говорил, что это последняя катка, я пойду собираться. Так что, сорян. Завтра не знаю, будет ли стрим. Короче, скорее всего, будет. Как идти в ТГ. Такие дела. Все, пам-парам. Я побежал. Всем пока.